Once again, it's a fantastic, buzzy event this year. We've had everyone from the Irish Prime Minister, the Taoiseach, Leo Varadkar, proudly presenting the record of the Irish economy and the resilience of the people here as his legacy, if you like. We've also heard from a huge selection of central bankers, both from Europe and the US, talking about one of the big themes at this year's conference, sustainability and the role that regulators and central banks can play to encourage that economic shift, that transition to a green economy.
I'm a financial advisor, so it gives us guys a real insight into what storm clouds are on the horizon. The opportunities are how we might avert some danger down the track.
We're in a very different world now, one with persistent downside pressure on inflation. We're going to be fighting to achieve our target from below the target more than above the target. And in that context, something like a makeup strategy where you recognize that an average inflation targeting would be a very good example of that, where you say, well, on a downturn, we're going to be way below target. So in an upturn, in an expansion, we should rise above target so that on average we hit our 2%.
As people say, conferences are a way to understand what the general consensus is on different topics. I found the high interest in green finance very interesting. I'm also looking at projects in that space. So I've been able to network with people that I could be very useful for my own projects, and hopefully I'm useful to them as well.
The top issues, I think, for Europe certainly, and it's regulation clearly. At what point do we have globally a level playing field for regulation? Financial disruption. We see a lot of competition to the traditional banking sector from disruptive fintech. The next decade is going to be very, very challenging, but I think there's lots of opportunities as well.
Some very interesting topics on ESG especially, and I think that's something we're going to see and hear more and more of. And we've had some interesting panelists in from all over the world really, and the focus and interest on that I think is significant. So we're looking forward to hearing more about that. It's obviously something I think that everybody's focused on.
Technology is reshaping the banking business, but it remains extremely important people. So we are investing a lot in technology. We are a bank without branches, but a business of people.
I think we're used to thinking about, credit, liquidity, market risk and so on, and thinking about them through the dimension of climate change, whether that's about kind of physical risks and, events that you see in terms of storms and flooding and other things like that, or whether it's about transition. And I think a big part of what we are thinking about is both elements of those, but particularly on transition, the pace of transition and how quickly we are going to adapt to the challenges that are ahead and trying to make sure, I suppose, that's done in a smooth way.
It's just a great opportunity to meet and network with senior decision makers in companies, to see what's going on in the financial services industry so that we can work on growing and building that in Ireland. So it's just, the atmosphere is wonderful, the level of speakers and content is fantastic, and I'm just really enjoying the day, and we're only halfway through, so I'm excited to see what's to come.
The whole forum has been an opportunity to actually take a step away from work and actually interact with colleagues in across the industry to brainstorm on key issues like Brexit, sustainable finance. So I would say meeting colleagues and actually brainstorming on those issues.
Across all of these sessions, there's also, of course, a lot of focus on the minutiae of banking and finance, the way forward for the financial sector in the face of all the geopolitical risks that are around, and the technological and climate change risks and opportunities that are out there.